The world tells us that international law protects sovereignty, peace, and equality between nations. But let's be honest, that world only exists on paper. Let's check what just happened on the 3rd of January 2026 in Venezuela. The United States conducts a military operation in Venezuela. Strategic sites are bombed. The sitting president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife are captured. Then, the USA president after
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
about occupation. Now, ask yourself this. How is that different from what Russia is doing in Ukraine, or what China openly says it intends to do with Taiwan? Supporters will say the motives are different, that one side is spreading democracy while the other is spreading authoritarianism. But international law does not judge intentions, it judges actions. Invading a sovereign state, removing its leadership by force, deciding its future without its consent, those actions have names in international law, regardless of who does them. This is where the UN Security Council enters the picture, the same body that claims to be the guardian of global peace. On paper, the UN Charter is clear. No country has the right to use force against another unless it is acting in self-defense or has authorization from the Security Council. But here's the catch. 5 countries, the United States, Russia, China, France, and the UK, hold veto power. One veto can override the entire world. That veto was designed to keep the UN alive by keeping powerful states inside the system. In reality, it has turned the UN into a hostage of power politics. When Russia invades Ukraine, it is condemned, rightly, as a violation of sovereignty, but Russia vetoes consequences. When the US intervenes abroad, there is no veto, because the US is the veto. So accountability becomes selective, justice becomes political, and law becomes optional for the powerful. People often ask, why doesn't the UN act? The answer is simple. It can't, not against its own masters. This is why Vladimir Putin can have an international arrest warrant and still travel freely among powerful allies. This is why leaders accused of war crimes are condemned in speeches, but untouched in reality. If international law truly applied equally, power would not determine innocence. Now look at Europe. The European Union may issue statements, they may express deep concern, but they won't act. Why? Because Europe has outsourced its military power for decades. When Russia launched its so-called special operation, Europe discovered it lacked ammunition, production capacity, and strategic independence. And without the United States, Europe cannot project force. So criticism stops where dependence begins. Now let's talk about Venezuela itself. Yes, many Venezuelans may be relieved to see Maduro gone. That does not mean they consent to foreign rule. Removing a leader does not give another country the right to run a nation. And let's be honest about interests. Venezuela does not suddenly become important because of democracy. It becomes important because it has the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. History shows us a pattern. Where resources exist, principles suddenly follow. Will things work out in Venezuela under foreign control? Maybe, maybe not. But that question misses the point. The real lesson is this: the international system is not built on equality, it is built on power. The UN Security Council does not prevent invasions, it manages which invasions are punished. The world is not ruled by law, it is ruled by leverage. And the uncomfortable truth is this: if you are strong enough, the rules bend. If you are weak enough, the rules break on you. This is not a pro-Russia argument. This is not a pro-China argument. And it is not an anti-America argument. It is a reality argument. Until power is balanced, justice will remain selective. Until veto power is reformed, international law will remain conditional. And until then, the world will continue pretending that all nations are equal while knowing that some are more equal than others.